Stoicism, a philosophy born in ancient Greece, teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. At the heart of this philosophy lies Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher. His teachings remind us that our true power lies in how we respond to life's challenges. His advice to act as if nothing bothers you is not about ignoring emotions, but mastering them. In this article, we'll explore Stoicism's transformative power, uncover how it fosters emotional resilience, and provide practical steps to live a more peaceful, fulfilling life. In the following sections, we'll dive deeper into understanding Stoic principles, explore their practical applications, and discover how embracing them can reshape your daily life. Understanding the concept, act as if nothing bothers you. As we've seen, Stoicism emphasizes the power of controlling our responses to external events. This brings us to one of Epictetus' most powerful teachings: act as if nothing bothers you. But what does this truly mean, and how can it be applied to modern life? Imagine this. You've just received a rude comment from a colleague. Your initial instinct might be to feel hurt, angry, or defensive. However, through the lens of Stoicism, Epictetus would advise you to take a step back and reflect. What is it about this comment that is actually bothering you? Is it the words themselves, or is it your reaction to those words? The key idea here is that the event, the comment, doesn't have inherent power to disturb your peace. It's your perception and emotional reaction that shape your experience. Epictetus teaches that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond to it. Life will always throw challenges our way, from traffic jams to disagreements to unexpected setbacks. Yet, the one thing that remains entirely within our control is our ability to choose our response. In this sense, acting as if nothing bothers you is not about suppressing emotions, but about mastering them. It's about recognizing that our peace of mind doesn't have to depend on external circumstances. To fully grasp this, let's consider a real-life example. Picture a man named James. James is a successful business owner, but one day, his partner accuses him of mishandling company finances. The accusation stings, and the natural reaction would be anger, embarrassment, or fear. However, James is familiar with Stoic principles. Rather than reacting impulsively, he takes a deep breath, steps away from the situation, and asks himself, what can I control in this moment? How can I respond thoughtfully rather than emotionally? Instead of letting his emotions dictate his behavior, he calmly addresses the issue, focusing on facts rather than feelings. He doesn't let the accusation disturb his inner peace because he understands that it's his reaction, not the accusation itself, that determines his emotional state. This ability to detach from external triggers and maintain calm is at the core of Stoicism. Epictetus' message isn't about ignoring feelings or pretending that nothing affects us. Rather, it's about cultivating a mindset that acknowledges life's ups and downs while choosing not to be controlled by them. When we act as if nothing bothers us, we free ourselves from the emotional turmoil that often comes with life's challenges. We stop reacting out of habit or impulsivity, and instead, respond from a place of wisdom and inner strength. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't require perfection. It's not about never feeling upset or angry, it's about becoming aware of our emotional reactions and taking control of them. Over time, practicing this Stoic principle helps us build emotional resilience and greater peace of mind. It empowers us to face life's inevitable difficulties without losing ourselves in them, fostering a sense of balance and calm that can lead to more fulfilling, meaningful lives. By acting as if nothing bothers us, we unlock the power to respond to life with grace, wisdom, and composure, regardless of the circumstances. This is the true essence of Epictetus' teaching, not that we won't feel emotions, but that we will choose how to channel them. The role of perception in Stoicism, building upon the idea that we can choose our responses rather than letting external events control us, we now turn to one of the most crucial elements of Stoic philosophy, the power of perception. Epictetus believed that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of those events. This idea has the potential to transform how we approach life's challenges. Imagine this scenario. Sarah, a dedicated employee, just received harsh criticism from her boss in front of her colleagues. Her immediate thought is, I must be terrible at my job. She feels embarrassed, frustrated, and a little defeated. But what if Sarah paused for a moment and questioned her perception of the situation? What if she recognized that the criticism, while unpleasant, was not a reflection of her worth as a person, but rather an opportunity for growth? This is where Stoic perception comes in. Epictetus teaches that events themselves are neutral. They carry no inherent value or emotional charge. It's our perception of these events that turns them into something we either welcome or reject. In Sarah's case, the criticism is a neutral event. It's her belief that the criticism defines her abilities and her self-worth that leads to emotional distress. If she can shift her perception, understanding that criticism is simply feedback and an opportunity to improve, the situation becomes a chance for growth, not a blow to her confidence. This shift in perspective is not just about looking on the bright side, but about changing the lens through which we view the world. A Stoic mindset encourages us to ask ourselves, is this situation within my control? If yes, focus on what actions can be taken to improve. If no, then let it go, recognizing that it's outside your sphere of influence. By changing how we interpret events, we can train our minds to remain composed, calm, and unshaken, even in the face of adversity. Let's look at another example. Mark, a college student, is preparing for a final exam that he's been struggling with. He's nervous and fears failing. But instead of allowing these feelings to paralyze him, he embraces a Stoic perspective. Rather than seeing the exam as a source of anxiety, he reframes it as an opportunity to test his knowledge and grow. He realizes that his stress comes not from the exam itself, but from the perception of failure that he has attached to it. By shifting his focus, Mark regains control and faces the exam with a calm, focused mindset. This ability to reframe situations and shift our perception is a core aspect of Stoicism. Epictetus encourages us to take a step back and question our automatic reactions. We often assume that things like criticism, failure, or discomfort are inherently negative, but Stoicism teaches us that these experiences are simply part of life, and it's our perception that determines whether they will lead to growth or suffering. When we master our perception, we master our inner world. We no longer allow external circumstances to dictate how we feel or react. Instead, we become the creators of our emotional experiences, choosing to view challenges as opportunities for development rather than obstacles. This power of perception allows us to live with greater peace, resilience, and clarity, no matter what life throws our way. Emotional resilience through Stoicism. Building on the idea that our perception shapes our emotional responses, we now delve into how Stoicism can help us develop emotional resilience, the ability to face life's challenges without being overwhelmed by them. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control external events, we can absolutely control how we respond to them. This is where emotional resilience becomes key. It's about cultivating an inner strength that allows us to navigate life's storms with grace and composure. Imagine this: Emma, a young professional, has just been passed over for a promotion at work. She feels devastated, questioning her worth and abilities. But instead of wallowing in self-pity, she turns to Stoicism. Rather than letting the rejection define her, she focuses on what she can control: her response. She acknowledges the pain of the moment but refuses to let it dictate her future actions. Emma uses this setback as an opportunity to reflect on her growth areas, seeking feedback from her manager and identifying ways to improve. In doing so, she transforms a painful moment into a catalyst for personal development. This ability to rise above setbacks is what Stoics refer to as resilience. By embracing the Stoic practice of focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we build emotional resilience that allows us to weather life's inevitable ups and downs. Instead of being consumed by negative emotions, we become empowered by them. Pain, disappointment, and frustration no longer have to be overwhelming forces that derail us. Instead, they become signals for change, growth, and self-improvement. Resilience doesn't mean that we never feel hurt or disappointment. Quite the opposite, in fact. Stoicism recognizes that emotions are part of the human experience. What it teaches is that we don't have to be controlled by them. Take the example of Alex, a father whose business is struggling. He's been working tirelessly, but despite his efforts, things aren't improving. Rather than letting stress and anxiety take over, he adopts a Stoic mindset. He accepts the situation for what it is and focuses on what actions he can take to improve it. He understands that while the outcome is uncertain, he can control his effort, his attitude, and his ability to adapt. Through these practices, emotional resilience grows. Stoicism doesn't ask us to suppress our emotions or deny our challenges. Instead, it empowers us to face them with clarity and a sense of purpose. We learn to view setbacks as temporary and within our power to overcome. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to practice patience, wisdom, and self-control, skills that ultimately build emotional strength. Resilience is about developing an unshakable foundation within ourselves, where external events no longer dictate our happiness or well-being. By embracing the Stoic path, we become not just survivors of life's trials, but thrivers. We learn that true power lies not in avoiding difficulty, but in mastering our reactions to it. Through this mastery, we build emotional resilience that allows us to live with greater peace, confidence, and freedom, no matter what life throws our way. Practical applications. How to act as if nothing bothers you. As we've explored, Stoicism empowers us to control our reactions and build emotional resilience. But how can we actually apply these teachings in our everyday lives? Stoicism isn't just a philosophy to read about. It's a practical way of living that can transform how we approach challenges, emotions, and even the smallest moments of daily life. The key lies in consistent practice, and fortunately, there are several tools and strategies to help us embody this mindset. Take the story of Mia, a young woman juggling multiple responsibilities: work, family, and personal goals. She often feels overwhelmed by the demands on her time, and small inconveniences, like a delayed train or a colleague's inconsiderate comment, tend to throw her off balance. But one day, she decides to adopt a Stoic approach. She starts each day by reminding herself of the basic Stoic principle: what's in my control? This simple question becomes her guide. Mia begins by practicing mindfulness each morning, taking a few moments to reflect on her priorities and her responses to potential stressors. She sets the intention to focus on what she can control and let go of what she cannot. This practice of daily intention setting is one of the most powerful ways to embody Stoicism. Before leaving the house, Mia also reminds herself that no matter what happens during the day, she has the power to choose her reaction. If something bothers her, she'll pause, breathe, and decide whether it's worth her emotional energy. Another practical strategy Mia uses is journaling. Each evening, she writes down moments that triggered an emotional response during the day. Instead of dwelling on her frustrations, she reflects on how she could have handled the situation better, how she can reframe her thinking, and how she might react differently in the future. This practice not only helps her to process her emotions, but also to train her mind to respond more stoically over time. In addition to these mental exercises, Mia also practices negative visualization. Stoics like Epictetus and Seneca often spoke about the importance of contemplating worst-case scenarios to diminish their power over us. Mia imagines losing her job or facing a health crisis, not as a way of dwelling on negativity, but as a reminder of the impermanence of things. This perspective helps her appreciate what she has and reduces her fear of loss. By accepting the possibility of hardship ahead of time, Mia is less likely to be rattled when faced with unexpected setbacks. Finally, Stoicism encourages us to practice gratitude, another powerful tool to help us stay centered. By focusing on the good in her life, Mia shifts her focus from complaints and frustrations to appreciation and contentment. Every night, she writes down 3 things she is grateful for, which helps to cultivate a positive outlook and keep her grounded during tough times. These practices are not about perfection. They are about progress. Every day is a chance to practice these tools and improve our ability to handle life with grace. By consistently applying Stoic principles like mindfulness, reflection, negative visualization, and gratitude, we can act as if nothing bothers us, not because we don't feel emotions, but because we've learned how to channel them constructively. By making Stoic practices a part of our daily lives, we begin to see life through a new lens, one where external events no longer control us. Instead, we create our own peace and resilience, regardless of what happens around us. Through consistent application, we can truly begin to live as if nothing bothers us, because our inner strength has grown to surpass external challenges. The power of detachment and its impact on mental health. Building on the idea that Stoic practices help us respond to life with resilience, we now explore a crucial element of Stoic philosophy that can greatly enhance our mental health: detachment. Detachment doesn't mean disconnecting or ignoring emotions, but rather understanding that our emotional well-being does not have to be tied to external circumstances. This practice can transform how we experience stress, anxiety, and even our sense of identity, leading to greater peace and clarity. Let's consider the story of Liam, a man whose life revolves around his career. He's been climbing the corporate ladder for years, but lately, his work has become a source of constant stress. The more he gets promoted, the more pressure he feels to perform at higher levels. His self-worth starts to feel directly tied to his job, and the fear of failure begins to consume him. This is where detachment comes into play. Through his introduction to Stoic teachings, Liam learns that his identity isn't defined by his job or success. He realizes that by practicing detachment, he can free himself from the constant need for validation and external approval. Detachment in Stoicism isn't about avoiding responsibility or becoming emotionally numb. It's about acknowledging that we are not defined by our external achievements, failures, or circumstances. It's about accepting that we can still be whole, content, and at peace, regardless of what's happening around us. Stoics teach us that happiness comes not from the pursuit of external validation, but from aligning our actions with our values and inner strength. By practicing detachment, we begin to understand that the only thing we truly own is our response to the world. Liam starts practicing detachment by reflecting on the impermanence of things, both good and bad. He realizes that his achievements, like promotions or accolades, won't last forever, and neither will his failures. By embracing this idea, he frees himself from the anxiety that comes with chasing external success. He begins to focus more on living in accordance with his principles rather than worrying about how others perceive him or the results of his work. As Liam shifts his perspective, he finds that his anxiety begins to diminish. He no longer feels the weight of needing to prove himself, and he starts to feel more present in his daily life. This sense of inner peace spills over into other areas. He feels more connected to his family, more at ease in his relationships, and less fearful of failure. Detachment allows him to let go of the pressure to control every outcome and to find contentment in simply doing his best, without tying his worth to the results. The power of detachment also extends to our mental health. Research shows that practicing detachment from external outcomes can reduce stress, anxiety, and even depression. When we detach from our need for validation and external success, we begin to experience a sense of freedom. We realize that we are enough as we are, and that our peace of mind isn't contingent on achieving specific goals or living up to others' expectations. Incorporating detachment into our lives is a powerful tool for mental well-being. It teaches us that true happiness doesn't depend on external factors, but on our ability to remain grounded, balanced, and in control of our emotions. By practicing detachment, we empower ourselves to face life's challenges without being overwhelmed by them, leading to a calmer, more resilient mind and a deeper sense of inner peace. Conclusion: embracing Stoicism for a powerful life. As we've explored the transformative power of Stoicism, how perception shapes our responses, how resilience builds our emotional strength, and how detachment fosters mental clarity, it's clear that Stoic principles can create a foundation for a more powerful, fulfilling life. The true beauty of Stoicism lies not in avoiding life's challenges but in how we face them. By embracing these teachings, we can navigate our world with grace, control, and a sense of inner peace that allows us to thrive, no matter the circumstances. Consider the story of Clara, a woman who once felt overwhelmed by life's unpredictability. She often felt at the mercy of her emotions, letting small setbacks spiral into major stress. But after discovering Stoicism, Clara decided to put its teachings into practice. She began to shift her mindset, seeing obstacles as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable problems. When faced with a personal challenge, such as the loss of a close friend, she didn't suppress her grief but instead allowed herself to feel it fully, acknowledging the impermanence of life while focusing on what she could control, her response. She found peace not in resisting the pain, but in embracing the reality of it, knowing it would pass. By incorporating the Stoic practice of focusing on what she could control and detaching from what was outside her influence, Clara learned to respond to adversity with greater composure and strength. She realized that she could choose how to react, regardless of external events, and that true power comes from mastering her emotional responses. With this new understanding, she felt more empowered in every area of her life, from her relationships to her career. The core message of Stoicism is not about seeking to be unaffected by life's ups and downs, but rather about developing the resilience to meet them with calm and wisdom. It encourages us to take ownership of our emotions, to understand that we are not at the mercy of external events, and that our true strength lies within. By living in accordance with the principles of Stoicism, acknowledging what is in our control, detaching from what is not, and embracing each moment with clarity, we can live a life that is not defined by external circumstances but by our inner resolve. Embracing Stoicism means accepting that life is unpredictable, but also knowing that we have the power to shape how we respond to it. It gives us the tools to find peace in the chaos, resilience in the face of adversity, and strength in the face of life's inevitable changes. When we live according to Stoic principles, we not only endure life's challenges, we transcend them, becoming the calm in the storm, the unshakable center amidst life's fluctuations. Through Stoicism, we unlock a life of true power, peace, and fulfillment, where nothing, no matter how difficult, can truly bother us. If you found these insights on Stoicism valuable, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear how these principles have impacted your life or how you plan to apply them. Don't forget to subscribe and check out our other videos for more transformative wisdom and practical tips that will help you live a calmer, stronger, and more empowered life. Remember, your journey to inner peace begins now, and we're here to guide you every step of the way.